Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tom Collier channel. Yesterday I was suffering with a bit of flu, still not 100%, but I'm feeling a bit better. I just sort of passed out yesterday and desperately seemed to need it. But I didn't want to let you guys go without the news. It is a little after the fact now, so there's certain pieces which seem a bit obvious, but I'm just going to do a quick, brief news section and a recap of everything I was going to report during yesterday's spoiler warning. So I'll start with some of the things that happened on Raw. We're going to talk about the Charlotte and Rhea feud that seems to be building. We're going to be talking about the returns for Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder. That I nearly forgot the name he used in WWE. We're going to talk about why Becky Lynch lost to Maxine Dupree. We're going to talk AJ Lee in War Games. I know we already know she's in War Games, but there's a bit more to the report that I've decided to keep in mentioning. We're going to talk about one of the things happening behind the scenes that has resulted in Brock Lesnar joining War Games. We're going to talk a new TV deal negotiation for TNA and how WWE are getting involved. We're going to talk about Liv Morgan. We're going to talk quite a bit about John Cena, firstly as regards the Hall of Fame in 2026, and then how Vince McMahon may be making John Cena's final match all about himself. And there's a couple of things, one as regards Adam Cole and one as regards Anna Jay, that we're going to talk about for AEW. So to start with, there is a Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley feud currently in the offing, and this is one of the reasons Charlotte Flair is avoiding the possibility of joining War Games. Now, there's a number of different things in play. Charlotte Flair is interested in War Games, however, she's been carrying a knee injury for a number of months now, so the WWE don't fully trust it. They're baiting the fans with this for a different thing, though. They are currently open to the idea of Rhea Ripley being someone to face Stephanie Vaquer in relatively short time, and they're also planning an Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley match for Wrestlemania. So a Rhea Ripley heel turn is something that works in their favour, even though she's a bit too hot to make that happen now. Charlotte Flair risks the possibility of being booed, even if Rhea Ripley turns on her. So it's Alexa Bliss that Rhea Ripley would be turning on. Charlotte Flair would then be able to try and get revenge on behalf of her not friend. So it's an open door for a Rhea Ripley heel turn as they consider who they will have facing Stephanie Vaquer. Becky Lynch is still the number one candidate. Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder were pleasant surprises, but there's no real intention to use them again beyond their brief appearances in the tournament. Cena is said to have enough sway with the WWE to get them in, even if WWE weren't particularly invested. Matt Cardona has been looking to rejoin the WWE, but the WWE is not said to be particularly interested, whereas Dolph Ziggler is very happy working outside of the WWE instead. Cena is also said to have directly apologised to Joe Hendry for not being able to get a one-on-one match between the two of them. Becky Lynch is said to have practically begged the WWE to let her lose the Intercontinental Championship to Maxine Dupree. Now, Becky Lynch is not in any way in charge of creative for the women's division, or in fact in charge of her own creative. This flu is doing things to my voice. But she does have some sway and she does have some opinions. And when it comes to potential opponents, she chose Maxine Dupree many months prior. She also chose to work with Lyra Valkyria. She's doing everything she can to build people up. Now, she has said to the WWE that Maxine winning the championship, however briefly, will do more for Maxine's stock than anything else. So Becky Lynch is going into War Games unburdened by championships. Maxine Dupree will not hold this championship long, but it is a transition that will allow Becky to continue her work with AJ Lee. AJ Lee and Becky are likely to face off in War Games. AJ Lee is said to have been booked into WWE Creative from War Games right through to WrestleMania as a minimum from now on. The contract is limited date, so she won't be there week in, week out, and she also does have break clauses if she's unhappy, something that CM Punk had for a little while as well. Rey Mysterio still has several also. Break clauses are relatively new in the WWE. They started with Ronda Rousey, where she essentially decided she was only going to work 12 months, even though her contract was reportedly for 36 months. She had break clauses, and she decided around the June time, so not long into her first run, that she was only going to be working the 12 months, as reported exclusively by Tom Collier. The contract is limited date, so she's not going to appear too often, as I've said, but from War Games until WrestleMania, she has agreed her matches. So the WWE has already said what match she will have at this year's WrestleMania and what involvement she might have in the Royal Rumble. The War Games teams on the men's side have been confirmed. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso will take on Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar has a lot of close friends in that ring, and given that he's apparently prone to anxiety attacks now, he needed them. So people like Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, they are very, very close with Brock Lesnar, and they will be essentially looking out for him. Logan Paul apparently has also been talking to his own marketing team about working with Brock Lesnar to rebuild the Lesnar name. So Logan Paul is certainly trying to make Brock Lesnar a friend of his as well. TNA are currently canvassing for a new TV deal, but they are not actually the only team negotiating. The WWE is apparently also involved in negotiations on TNA's behalf, trying to convince different TV stations to pick up TNA programming and to give them a lot more money. As part of this deal, TNA has committed to further loan options and to working more directly under the NXT umbrella. Pete Dunne is said to have been involved in producing matches for TNA involving WWE superstars. There were rumours that Liv Morgan was at Raw. These came from Body Slam. Liv Morgan was not at Raw, but she was in New York City. She has been involved in recording for promos for the Royal Rumble because she's expected to be back for that. Now, Body Slam did report a number of other names, AJ Lee and Roman Reigns, for example, so I would say 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but as a wrestling journalist, in my experience, I think we all know that anything less than a 480% record of correct is a hangable offence. John Cena will headline the Hall of Fame for WrestleMania in 2026. This was agreed before he began his retirement tour. WWE after that will only have a merch deal with Cena, but that is already signed for multiple years. He has no appearances or matches in his contract from there on. Before WrestleMania, however, he is working on a different contract, and while there are no planned matches, the WWE are intent on still trying to convince him, even as of today when they are selling tickets on the basis of his last time is now. As regards Cena's final match, WWE is still trying to get Donald Trump, currently United States President, to appear for Cena's final match. They want him on camera, but Trump has said to the WWE that he would like to be joined by Vince McMahon. And Vince McMahon on camera is not something that the WWE are comfortable with. Vince McMahon is said to have made several overtures for invites, and the WWE have blankly ignored him. So he has not been invited to John Cena's final match. I suspect he will still be there. I can unfortunately confirm reports via sources within AEW that as of this moment, Adam Cole is medically retired by AEW's medical team. That's not to say that a comeback is impossible, but the situation at the moment is a very similar situation to Big E. And while Big E potentially could find someone to clear him, he would be taking his life into his own hands, and the WWE would not allow him to work under those conditions. WWE are also said to be planning to quietly release Anna Jay when her AEW contract expires in early 2026. A lot of the early run of AEW talent have now left the building, and others, such as Chris Jericho, are attempting to do so. So that's our news, guys. That's all of the news that I've got. That's all of the news that I can share. That would have been happening during spoiler warning when I could answer your questions, but the flu has kicked my ass a little bit, so for that I do apologise. We'll be back on Monday for our podcast recording. Hopefully I'll see you all there. Thank you very much and goodbye.